There is a right-wing podcaster, we referenced her earlier in the show, named Candace Owens. And Candace Owens, a little while ago, became obsessed with the idea that Brigitte Macron, Emmanuel Macron's wife, Emmanuel Macron being the president of France, that Brigitte Macron has a penis. Is the only way I can say it. Or had one. Currently, or at one point, was in ownership of a penis. This may be how I would word it. And yeah, you can see how fired up she is there, Candace Owens. She was really passionate about it and started doing this whole long investigation. Now, it's ridiculous, but that feels like a really bummer take to give. She's saying she had a penis. I say she doesn't and is not in possession of even one single one. But I think a more interesting take is, let's imagine everything Candace said was true. Why do you care? It's so weird. But now, because it's fake, Brigitte Macron is suing Candace Owens, or Emmanuel Macron, suing Candace Owens for defamation. This is crazy. This is what Candace Owens wants, by the way. Now everyone's going to rally around her. Woo! Free Candace! She's a brave truth teller. It's relevant to me and the lives of working class Americans whether or not the French president's wife has or had a penis. Like, how do you justify? Sometimes I struggle to justify these things on this show, and I'm like, I don't know, we're talking about this because I want to, right? How does she justify that in her head? Well, because we need to hold the French people to honesty. French President Macron files lawsuit against Candace Owens for repeatedly claiming his wife is a man. There they are. French President Emmanuel Macron has filed that lawsuit. The lawsuit, which was filed Wednesday morning in Superior Court of the state of Delaware, calls Owens' claims devastating lies and adds that the podcast host disregarded all credible evidence disproving her claim in favor of platforming known conspiracy theories and proven defamers. The series that suit alleges that Candace was doing, the series on Brigitte Macron. She did a series, right? Multiple long form investigatory segments on the genitalia of a different country's first lady, is packed with outlandish, defamatory, and far-fetched fictions. By the way, Candace Owens obliterates us in views. Think about that. Let me just say it that way too. When she does a story on this, it'll get millions of views just on one video. Just on one video, millions of views. Which, by the way, guys, pick it up. Our best videos get like in that realm. She's doing it on the regular, right? I don't talk about anyone's purported penises. Pick it up. You know how hard that is? To not even one single time talk about a foreign leader's wife's purported penis? It's hard. Wait. It was right there. It was right there. Jaden's tired and he's sad. So if you're thinking like, wow, that would have been a moment where Jaden really let it rip, it's all right. It's not you, it's him. It's not me, it's him. This is nothing new for Owens. She has built a brand on provocation, the lawsuit writes, not truth. True. Owens labels herself as an independent investigative journalist while routinely peddling misinformation under the guise of legitimate reporting. She's promoted a range of conspiracy theorists, anti-vaccine, etc., Holocaust distortion, all the things we know about her. But let me take you back for a second here to Candace Owens, just to give you a sense of how round the world this has gone. Recounting the fact that Trump called her to say, hey, Candace, this is weird.
Anyways, I sleep on that. Anger is subsiding. Wake up the next morning. It's February 26th, and I am sitting in the makeup chair, and I get another message that's like, hey, keep your phone on. And I'm going, I really don't want to speak to this advisor anymore. I really don't. Our personalities are not meshing. And anyways, this phone call is coming from Florida. I pick up the phone, and lo and behold, so here's what happened. I'm negotiating this thing. I'm negotiating Ukraine.
I mean, listen to that impression. She's a bigger channel than us. Listen to that impression. Now I'm not going to do it now, because if I botch it, it'll be really embarrassing. Think back to my Trump impressions. It's just something to ponder.
In Russia, and you wouldn't believe how many parts are part. It is President Donald J. Trump. He is calling me, and in true President Trump fashion, he jumps right into the narrative. We're not, hey, how you doing? He just like jumps right into the narrative of exactly how this went down. I am literally, it is hard to catch my breath to comprehend that 4 days ago, I'm ending a series about Brigitte Macron, and now I'm speaking to the President of the United States, and the topic of conversation, no matter which way you want to slice it, it's about Macron's wife's penis. I mean, there's no other way to say it, right? And so he just jumps right into the narrative. He's like, I'm negotiating. You wouldn't believe how many pieces this person wants this person, and this person wants this, and you have no idea how much is involved when you're trying to get one of these deals done, Anyways, I have Macron. I like Macron. We're speaking at the White House, and I'm walking him to his car. And, he says to me, Mr. President, can I speak to you for a second? I say, of course you can speak to me about anything. What's going on? And he tells me,
why were you doing a Trump impression back to him? Of course, Mr. Of course, I can't even. Of course, Mr. He doesn't talk like that, but okay, sorry.
Walking him to his car, and, he says to me, Mr. President, can I speak to you for a second? I say, of course you can speak to me about anything. What's going on? And he tells me that there's Secret Service all around them.
Oh, wait, sorry, I might have gotten confused. Maybe she was doing... I might have gotten confused. Okay, keep going.
There's SUVs. They're encircled, and Macron wants to have a little sidebar. And then Macron says to him, Mr. President, do you know Candace Owens? And I say, yes, of course I know Candace Owens. What's going on? And then the president says to me, you must be a very powerful person, Candace. We're talking about the president of France taking me aside to talk about your podcast. And then continues his narrative, and he tells me that Emmanuel Macron is requesting to his face that I stop speaking about his wife. And one of the things Trump said is like, he tells me, she's old, and this is really, really impacting her. And I'm listening, and he...
Okay, so it's a long-winded story, but she goes on to say that she says, Mr. President, if I need, I'll do it temporarily. If you need, I'll stop talking about it. But I stand on truth. I stand on integrity. And I would be violating those principles if I stopped talking about Brigitte Macron's genitalia, apparently. I'm confused. What is happening? And I'm glad they're bringing a lawsuit. I think, I never want governments to try to silence, but I guess this is a pretty clear-cut case, right? I mean, it's probably pretty easy to prove. No? If I'm remembering 5th grade sex ed, I think she might be able to slam dunk this case. Will Sommer said French President Macron's wife Brigitte just filed a lawsuit against right-wing podcaster Candace Owens in the U.S. over her outlandish claims against the couple, including that Brigitte is trans. Macron's are repped by Claire Locke. Again, but who? What? Let's imagine everything's true. What? Who? Why is it this even? Has it become an obsession of yours? Because that's what it is, to do a series. And why are the same viewers who were talking about how Biden wasn't focusing enough on the kitchen table issues, why are they tuning into this for so long? I at least try on random stories we cover to connect it. Like, well, this is about because of something when it comes to the standpoint of it, and then that leads you to why I should talk about it. But I don't know how you get there with this. Very and oh so bizarre.